Journalism is a very important part in the administration of justice in this country. Justice shouldn't be only done in public, it should be done in public.
We have just watched an introduction video from Schiller, investigative journalist. He states clearly in the video that justice should be seen to be done in public and the media has a vital role to play in doing so. So what I'd like to do with some of the details or some of the articles and indeed this video clip that Mr. Schiller has created, I want to go into some detail on them, and we will contradict and again we will show the glaring omissions from these reports. And once again, this is another reporter whose integrity we call into question. So the first article I'm going to put up here is in the Irish Independent, and there it is. Brady beat up witness who overheard boasts about Donoghue murder, and it's Mr. Schiller from the 15th of August 2020. And again, I'm just going to put up the text. Please bear with me. I'll have to read through the text and I'm just going to interject with contradictions as we go through this passage, and I'll do it as quickly as I can. Garda killer Aaron Brady attacked a key witness and warned him to keep his mouth shut after he was overheard bragging about the murder of Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue. The assault was one of several attempts by Brady to stop people in the US from giving incriminating statements against him to detectives. So here we have the first line of that second short paragraph there. The assault was one of several attempts by Brady. Mr. Schiller, can you publish or let us know where are these several attempts? That is blatantly wrong. It is a blatant lie. The Bradys or Aaron Brady never attempted to intimidate anyone, and you just blasé put this statement up here. It's incorrect, it's false, and it is really trash journalism, and it is upsetting for us to see it, and you get away with it just as if it's a stroke of a pen. It's incorrect and it's wrong. 2 people testified during the trial that they had heard the Crossland man admit to shooting the Garda, but 5 more people made attempts to linking him to the murder. So 5 more people, so that's 7. So you're just creating numbers here that simply do not exist, Mr. Schiller. You're exaggerating, you're falsifying the truth. You are telling lies. You know the numbers. Or are you a bit like Mr. Pat Murray in the primetime programme? Oh, approximately 5 people came forward. So this is a very serious crime, very serious information, and we're going by approximates and just numbers plucked out of the air. It's absolutely disgusting. The Irish Independent can reveal that one of these men was attacked by Aaron Brady after they overheard him making a drunken admission in a New York bar. The witness told detectives that he was in the Coachman's Inn in Bronx on St. Patrick's Day 2015 when he overheard the man telling his friends what it was like to kill someone. The Gardaí were told the man was boasting about the murder, and he later assaulted the witness outside the pub, warning him to keep his mouth shut. I've seen this man's witness statement, and there's at no point in this nonsense of a statement that Aaron Brady said anything about murdering a guard. So factually and totally incorrect. And again, it's just very difficult to put into words what we feel when we see journalism like this, and we're going to see very shortly now that this man, Mr. Schiller, knows an awful lot more about this gentleman than meets the eye. The witness later identified his attacker as Aaron Brady after he saw him in a Crossland Rangers jersey on a friend's Facebook page. I'm not sure if Mr. Schiller has made any attempts to speak to this gentleman's friend, but we will question that when the time is right. There's just one more little bit of text here. The detectives took a detailed statement from him which was described as highly significant. They also photographed the scar on the witness said was left above his eye after Aaron Brady assaulted him. I'll just deal with that first. This gentleman was indeed had an altercation with Aaron. He had an altercation with Aaron the night himself and Daniel Cahills and 2 others attacked Aaron in Aaron's apartment on 28 First Street. This nonsense about outside of a pub after he stood in a bar on St. Patrick's Day drinking water, changing a cheque. I'm sorry, it doesn't hold any water. And here we go. However, the Northern Irish man who is wanted by PSNI in relation to other criminal matters refused to come to court and express concerns about giving evidence. Two very brief things here. This gentleman did go to a lawyer in America, said he was put under duress to make statements and wanted nothing more to do with the case and withdrew his statement. So the duress and intimidation, and you know this, Mr. Schiller, came from the authorities. And I'd just like to mention here, Senior Investigating Counsel, Mr. Brendan Graham, didn't feel it necessary, didn't think it was important to mention this letter that came from a legal team in America representing this man. And this is on the foot of Agent Matt Katsky running about offering inducements and enticing people to make false statements. And also Mr. Graham covers up here for, we see a Senior Investigating Officer, Mr. Mark Phillips, who forgot to register this letter, and the letter was lost only for the due diligence of Aaron's legal team. The letter from the lawyer in America would never have been found. It was not disclosed correctly, most certainly not. So on foot of that, what we are going to look at now is some information with this gentleman who made this statement. I'm just very quickly going to run through this now. This happened to this gentleman here in Northern Ireland, and this is what he was found with. A coffee jar containing suspect white powder and ammunition opened and repackaged. Following forensic examination, drugs were confirmed to the value of cannabis, approximately 160 to 320 sterling, cocaine, 22,600 to 33,900. He was also found with a large sum of cash here also that's not on this list. And he provided a statement which said he had found the drugs in a jar containing powder and ammunition in a hedge the week previously. However, he had earlier made an unsolicited comment to uniformed colleagues stating that he was holding for a drugs gang from Dublin and that he had no choice. This gentleman was released and reported to the Public Prosecution Service, who subsequently confirmed the following offences: possession of Class A, possession of Class B, possession of Class A, possession of ammunition in suspicious circumstances. And there's more. Shots were fired at this gentleman's house on the 10th of November 2014. 3 spent shotgun cartridges were located. This was linked to drugs. However, no person was convicted in relation to this. The investigating officer in the case, Detective Constable, has confirmed the following: gentleman absconded and failed to answer police bail and has been alerted as wanted since this date. A court summons has also been issued in relation to his non-attendance at court. The case remains outstanding. Now, these were some questions our legal team put to the PSNI. Are there ongoing investigations being conducted by the PSNI this gentleman? As above, this gentleman remains alerted in relation to offences listed. And is this gentleman wanted by the PSNI in relation to any criminal investigation? Are there any charges pending against this gentleman in the north of Ireland? And as above, this gentleman remains alerted in relation to the offences listed. So there we have it, Mr. Schiller. You were in court. You know the offences and the issues this gentleman had when he made a statement in the United States of America against our son Aaron Brady. Now the question is, this gentleman still remains in the United States of America. How does that make any sense whatsoever? And I will repeat once again, Judge White, presiding over the case, Brendan Graham, Senior Prosecuting Counsel, and the likes of Mr. Raymond Briscoe in the DPP were fully aware of Agent Katsky's tactics of securing false statements and offering inducements. You are more than aware of Pat Murray in New York going around offering $100,000 and or green cards and immigration status for information. Something which he was reprimanded for. So this is the truth, Mr. Schiller. That is the whole story. And you pontificate, as we've seen at the beginning of the video, about justice being done in public. Please, I ask you, Mr. Schiller, have you reported the full story to the Irish public as you know it? Is there anything I have told you there that is not within your knowledge? I say, Mr. Schiller, you did know all these things and you omitted them for whatever reason, because you peddled a curated and manufactured story. Now we're going to move on to the next part of your video, and we'll see in connection to Mr. Daniel Cahill.
I think it was the longest criminal trial in Irish criminal history. It went on for nearly 9 months and sat in front of the jury for 122 days, and there was also many months of legal argument. So I suppose what you would see in a print article the next day or online would be 500 to 600 words of a kind of summary of 6 hours of evidence sometimes. It was a very complex criminal trial, and I suppose the focus is, listen to what's happening in the courtroom and trying to make it readable and understandable for our readers. There was very kind of technical evidence in some ways, there was witness evidence, there was a lot of different strands from different jurisdictions. So I suppose from the actual court case itself, it was important to tell that story and tell the evidence and present both sides, the prosecution and the defence have cases to make. It's very important that you remain detached from it and remove yourself from any kind of emotions you may have. It's obviously a case that, caused a lot of sympathy for Adrian Donoghue, and there's a lot of emotion involved in it, but there has been instances where trials may collapse or have collapsed. So it's very important to stay within those legal parameters to ensure you're not prejudiced in the case.